The emergency alarm screamed through the dark corridors of the Valtorian ship. Red lights flashed across the metal walls. Security officer Zara ran fast, her blue skin glowing under the warning lights. Her hand gripped her weapon tight. Intruder detected in Section 7. The computer voice announced again. Zara's heart raced. In her 10 years of service, no one had ever broken into their advanced ship. How did someone get past their security? She turned the corner and saw the guest quarters door standing open. Strange sounds came from inside. She stopped outside and checked her scanner. The screen showed one life form inside, but the readings were wrong. Very wrong. The body temperature was too low. The heart rate was too slow. What kind of creature was this? Zara took a deep breath and entered quietly. The room was dark except for one small light. She raised her weapon and stepped forward carefully. Then she saw him. A human male lay on the bed, sleeping peacefully. His chest moved up and down slowly, but Zara's eyes went wide with shock. The blanket had fallen off his body. He was completely uncovered, wearing only strange earth undergarments. His arms, legs, and torso were exposed to the cool air. "By the stars," Zara whispered. She had studied many species but never seen a human before. Her scanner beeped again. His body temperature read only 37 degrees Celsius. For her species, that was freezing cold. Fatal cold. The human made a soft sound and turned over. His blanket fell completely onto the floor. Zara wanted to help, but she froze. Why was this creature not protecting itself? Did Earth beings not feel cold? Or was he too sick to care? She looked at his face. He seemed calm, even comfortable. His breathing was steady and deep. There was no sign of pain or fear. He was sleeping like someone safe at home, not someone dying from cold. Zara's training told her to report this immediately. But her instincts told her something else. This human was not an intruder. He was the engineer who came yesterday to help repair their old Earth-made engine. His name was Marcus. She checked her scanner one more time. The readings still showed dangerously low temperature. Her people would die within minutes in such conditions without protective covering. How was he surviving? Marcus suddenly shifted again. His hand moved across the bed, searching for something. The blanket, maybe? But then his hand stopped, and he continued sleeping soundly. He did not even try to cover himself. Zara made a decision. She pressed her communicator button. "Medical Officer Kryn, come to guest quarters immediately." Silent approach. "We have a situation." She kept watching Marcus, confused and worried. Earth creatures were more mysterious than she thought. Was this normal human behavior, or was he in serious danger? She had to find out before it was too late. Medical Officer Kryn arrived within 3 minutes. He was tall with green skin and 4 arms. He carried his medical kit and scanner. Zara put one finger to her lips, signaling silence. Kryn entered the room and saw Marcus sleeping uncovered. His eyes grew wide with shock. "What is happening here?" he whispered. "He has been like this for 10 minutes, Zara said quietly. "His body temperature is only 37 degrees. But look at him. He seems fine." Kryn scanned Marcus with his advanced medical device. The results made him even more confused. His vital signs are stable, heart beating normally, brain activity shows deep sleep. But how? No species can survive exposed like this. Zara picked up the blanket from the floor. Slowly, she moved closer to Marcus and gently placed it over his body. She stepped back and waited. Both aliens watched carefully. For 2 minutes, Marcus did not move. Zara felt relief. Maybe he just needed help covering himself. Then Marcus made a sound. He moved his leg. Suddenly, he kicked the blanket off completely. It fell to the floor again. He turned to his side and continued sleeping peacefully. "Did you see that?" Kryn whispered in shock. He removed the protection himself. Zara felt panic rising in her chest. "What do we do? Should we tie the blanket to him?" "No, wait," Kryn said. He moved closer and observed Marcus carefully. "Look at his skin. There is no shaking, no color change. In our species, cold skin turns dark blue before death. His skin looks perfectly healthy." Zara checked her information pad. She searched for human biology files. The database says humans come from planet Earth. Earth has many different climates. Hot deserts, frozen poles, wet forests. Maybe they adapt to temperature changes. "Impossible," Kryn said. "Every species needs protection. It is basic survival science. Without covering, the body loses heat and dies. This is universal law." Marcus suddenly made a loud sound. Both aliens jumped back in fear, but he was just snoring. He rolled over again, pushing his pillow to a cooler spot. "He is searching for cold areas," Zara observed. Kryn, what if humans do not need warmth like we do? What if their bodies work differently? Before Kryn could answer, something terrible happened. Marcus's arm moved suddenly in his sleep. It hit the wall panel beside his bed. The emergency button activated. Red lights filled the room immediately. The alarm screamed again. The computer voice announced, "Security breach detected. Lockdown protocol activated. All personnel stay in current positions." Heavy metal doors slammed shut across the ship. Zara and Kryn were trapped inside the room with the sleeping human. They heard the captain's angry voice through the speakers. "Security Officer Zara, report your location and situation immediately." Zara looked at Kryn with fear in her eyes. How could she explain this? She had entered a guest's room without permission. She had brought the medical officer without proper authorization. And now they were trapped because of a sleeping human who refused to stay covered. Marcus continued sleeping, completely unaware that his simple action had caused chaos throughout the entire ship. The captain's voice came through the speaker again, louder this time. "Zara, answer now. What is happening in Section 7? Zara's hands shook. She looked at Kryn, who looked equally worried. She pressed the communication button carefully. "Captain, this is Officer Zara. There is no real threat. I can explain everything. Explain?" "The emergency system shows a security breach in the human guest quarters." "Why are you there?" The captain's voice was sharp with anger. Before Zara could answer, Marcus stirred on the bed. His eyes opened slowly. He saw two alien figures standing over him in the red emergency lights. For 1 second, nobody moved. Then Marcus screamed. He jumped up on the bed, grabbing his blanket and holding it against his chest. Zara screamed too. Kryn dropped his medical scanner. All three of them were shouting in panic. "Who are you? What are you doing in my room?" Marcus yelled, his heart pounding. "We were trying to help you," Zara shouted back, raising her hands to show she meant no harm. "Help me." "Help me with what?" Marcus looked around confused. He saw the red lights, heard the alarm, and noticed the locked door. "What is going on?" Kryn spoke quickly, his forearms moving nervously. "You were sleeping without protection. Your body temperature was dangerously low. We thought you were dying." Marcus blinked several times. He looked down at himself, then at the blanket in his hands. Slowly understanding came to his face. "Wait, you thought I was dying because I was sleeping without a blanket?" "Yes," Zara said. "How can you survive in such cold conditions with no covering?" "It is impossible." Marcus sat down on the bed. Despite the serious situation, he almost wanted to laugh. "I am not dying. I am human. We sleep like this. Our bodies control temperature naturally. We do not need blankets for survival, just for comfort." Zara and Kryn looked at each other in amazement. "Your species needs no external protection?" Kryn asked. "Not really," Marcus said. He grabbed his datapad from the side table. "Look, let me show you." He pulled up information about human biology. Humans evolved on Earth. We lived in caves, forests, deserts, and cold mountains. Our bodies learned to adapt. We sweat when hot and shiver when cold. We regulate our own temperature. The aliens stared at the information on the screen. Their mouths hung open in shock. "This is incredible," Zara whispered. "Your species is more advanced than we thought." "Not advanced, just different," Marcus said. He was starting to calm down now. Suddenly, the captain's voice boomed through the speaker. "I am coming down there personally. You have 30 seconds to explain, or everyone faces serious consequences." Marcus looked at Zara. "Your captain sounds really angry." "Very angry," Zara agreed. "I entered your room without proper permission. I was worried about you, but I broke protocol." Marcus stood up and put on his shirt quickly. "Then let me help explain. This is all just a big misunderstanding. Will he believe us?" Kryn asked nervously. Before anyone could answer, they heard footsteps outside. Heavy boots marching in rhythm. The door suddenly unlocked and slid open with a loud sound. Captain Vorath stood in the doorway. He was the largest Valtorian Marcus had ever seen. His silver skin looked like metal armor. 6 armed guards stood behind him, weapons ready. His dark eyes moved from Zara to Kryn to Marcus. The captain's face was unreadable. Anger, confusion, and suspicion mixed together. He looked at Marcus standing there in his casual clothes, then at his 2 officers who seemed terrified. "Explain this," the captain said slowly, his voice dangerously quiet. "Explain why my security officer and medical officer are trapped in a guest's room during a full ship lockdown. Explain why our human engineer is involved. And explain it now." The room fell completely silent. Everyone waited. Marcus took a deep breath. This was going to be difficult to explain. How do you tell an alien captain that his officers panicked because a human slept without a blanket? The captain crossed his massive arms. I am waiting. Marcus stepped forward slowly. He looked at the angry captain and took a deep breath. Captain Vorath, this is my fault. Your officers were only trying to help me. The captain's eyes narrowed. Help you? By breaking protocol and causing a ship-wide emergency. They thought I was dying, Marcus said calmly. Because I was sleeping without a blanket. The captain stared at him. Then he looked at Zara and Kryn. Is this true? You caused all this chaos over a blanket? Zara stood straight facing her captain. Sir, his body temperature was only 37 degrees Celsius. For our species that means death. I could not let a guest die on our ship. I had to help. Captain Vorath was silent for a moment. His anger seemed to fade slightly. He looked back at Marcus. But you are not dying clearly. No, sir, Marcus said. Humans are different. We regulate our own body temperature. We do not need external covering to survive. Our bodies adapt automatically. The captain shook his head. This seems impossible. Every species in our records needs protection from temperature changes. It is basic biology. Marcus picked up his datapad again. May I show you something, Captain? He waited for permission. Captain Vorath nodded slowly. Marcus pulled up Earth's information on the screen. This is my home planet. Look at the different environments. Deserts where temperature reaches 50 degrees Celsius. Arctic regions where it drops to minus 40 degrees. Humans live in all these places. The captain moved closer, studying the images. His guards lowered their weapons slightly, also curious. Your species lives in such extreme differences? Yes, Marcus continued. We evolved to adapt. Our bodies sweat when too hot, cooling us down. We shiver when too cold, creating warmth. We do not need constant protection like some species. Kryn spoke up nervously. Captain, I scanned him. His vital signs are completely normal. He was sleeping in what we consider freezing conditions, but his body was functioning perfectly. Captain Vorath walked around the room slowly, thinking deeply. So when Officer Zara found you uncovered, you were not in danger at all? Not at all, Marcus confirmed. I actually sleep better when cooler. Most humans do. We push blankets off naturally during sleep. The captain stopped walking. He looked at Zara with a different expression now. Officer, you saw a guest in what you believed was mortal danger. You acted to save a life, even though it meant breaking rules. Zara nodded. Yes, Captain. I would make the same choice again. For the first time, Captain Vorath smiled slightly. That shows honor, not disobedience. You may have been wrong about the danger, but your intentions were correct. Relief washed over Zara's face. Kryn also relaxed visibly. The captain turned to Marcus. Your species is remarkable. We have much to learn about humans. I apologize for doubting you. No need to apologize, Marcus said. This was a simple misunderstanding between different species. Suddenly, a new alarm sounded. This one was different, lower and more urgent. All the guards looked at their communicators at once. Captain, a voice came through the speaker. Engine room emergency. Main power core is failing. Temperature dropping to critical levels. The captain's face went pale. How long until complete failure? 20 minutes, sir. Maybe less. Captain Vorath turned to his crew. Get our best engineers there immediately. Sir, another voice responded. The engine room temperature is already minus 45 degrees Celsius. Our engineers cannot survive there for more than 3 minutes. Not long enough to fix the problem. Everyone fell silent. The situation was desperate. Without engines, the ship would drift in space forever. But the repair area was too cold for Valtorians to survive. Marcus looked at the concerned faces around him. Then he looked at the captain. How cold did you say it was? Minus 45 degrees, the captain said quietly. Why do you ask? Marcus smiled slowly. Because I am human. I adapt to extreme temperatures, remember? Tell me what needs to be fixed. Zara's eyes went wide. Marcus, no. That is too dangerous. For your species, yes, Marcus said. But I have worked in cold environments before on Earth. Humans can survive minus 50 degrees for short periods if we move fast and stay focused. Captain Vorath studied Marcus carefully. You would risk your life to save our ship. We are strangers to you, Marcus shrugged. You gave me passage across the galaxy. Your officer cared enough about me to check if I was okay. That is not how strangers act. That is how friends act. Besides, I am the only one who knows these old Earth-style engines anyway. The captain was quiet for a long moment. Then he placed his hand on Marcus's shoulder. How much time do you need? Marcus checked the engine specifications on his pad. Give me 20 minutes. I can do this. Zara stepped forward. Captain, please. There must be another way. There is not, the captain said firmly. Then he looked at Marcus with deep respect. But if you do this, you will have the gratitude of every Valtorian on this ship. Marcus was already putting on his work boots. Just have hot coffee ready when I get back. Real hot. I will need it. The captain nodded to his guards. Take him to the engine room. Give him whatever he needs. As Marcus walked toward the door, Zara caught his arm. Be careful, please. Marcus smiled at her. I will be fine, trust me. This is what humans do. We adapt. Marcus stood at the entrance of the engine room. Cold air rushed out like an invisible wave. Ice covered the metal walls. His breath turned into white clouds instantly. Are you sure about this? Zara asked one more time. Worry filled her voice. Marcus zipped up his thick work jacket. I am sure. Humans have survived worse. Trust me. Captain Vorath handed him a communicator. Stay in contact. If you feel too cold, come out immediately. The ship can be replaced. You cannot. Marcus nodded and stepped through the door. The cold hit him hard. His skin tingled. His fingers went numb quickly. But he kept moving. He had 18 minutes left. Inside the engine room, everything was frozen. The main power core glowed weakly in the center. Marcus could see the problem immediately. 3 connection cables had broken loose. They hung frozen in the air like dead snakes. I found the issue, Marcus said into his communicator. 3 main cables disconnected. I need to reconnect them and restart the core. Can you do it in time? The captain asked. Watch me, Marcus said. He grabbed his tools and started working fast. His hands shook from the cold. Each movement was harder than the last, but Marcus had trained for this. On Earth, he had worked in Alaska during winter. He had fixed equipment in Canadian ice storms. This was cold, but he could handle it. Outside, the entire crew watched on monitors. They saw Marcus moving quickly between frozen equipment. They saw him reconnecting cables with frozen fingers. Nobody spoke. Everyone held their breath. 10 minutes remaining, the computer voice announced. Zara pressed her hands against the screen. Come on, Marcus. You can do this. Inside the frozen room, Marcus connected the first cable. Then the second. His body was shaking now. His lips turned blue, but his mind stayed focused. 1 more cable to go. He reached for the 3rd cable, but his hand slipped. The tool fell from his frozen fingers and slid across the icy floor. No, Marcus shouted. He crawled after it, his body moving slowly now. Marcus, your body temperature is dropping too fast, Kryn warned through the communicator. You must come out. Not yet, Marcus said through shaking lips. Almost done. He grabbed the tool and pulled himself up. His legs felt heavy. His vision blurred slightly, but he could see the last cable clearly. 5 minutes remaining, the computer announced. Marcus grabbed the cable with both hands. He pulled with all his remaining strength. The frozen cable would not move at first, then slowly it started to shift. Marcus pulled harder, ignoring the pain in his frozen hands. The cable clicked into place. Got it, Marcus shouted. He pressed the restart button on the control panel. Nothing happened. The engine stayed silent. No, Marcus whispered. He checked the panel again. Then he understood. The system needed a manual override. He had to climb down to the lower level and activate it there. 3 minutes remaining, the computer said. Marcus looked down. The ladder was covered in ice. The lower level was even colder. His body was already at its limit. But if he did not do this, everyone would die. He thought about Zara's kind face, about Captain Vorath's trust in him, about proving that humans could help others, even aliens they just met. Marcus grabbed the frozen ladder and started climbing down. Each step felt like a mountain. His frozen hands barely held on, but he kept going, down into the coldest part of the engine room. He reached the bottom and found the override switch. His fingers were completely numb now. He could not feel anything. He used both hands together and pulled the switch with all his remaining strength. The switch moved. The engine roared to life. Lights filled the room. Warmth began flowing through the system. Marcus had done it. He fell to his knees, exhausted. Engine restarted, he said weakly into the communicator. Mission complete. The crew outside erupted in cheers. Captain Voreth smiled widely. Zara screamed with joy. "Get him out of there now," the captain ordered. 2 robots entered the engine room and carried Marcus out. Kryn wrapped him in heating blankets immediately. Zara held his frozen hand, tears in her eyes. "You did it," she whispered. "You actually did it." Marcus smiled through his shaking. "Told you. Humans adapt." 3 days later, the ship's main hall was filled with the entire crew. Captain Voreth stood at the front with Marcus beside him. Marcus's hands were bandaged, but he was smiling. "Today we honor someone special," the captain announced. "Marcus showed us that strength comes in many forms. We thought being uncovered meant weakness. We were wrong. His ability to adapt is his greatest strength." The crew clapped loudly. Zara stood in the front row, clapping the loudest. "Marcus, we give you the title of Cultural Ambassador," the captain continued. "You will help us understand humans better, and Officer Zara will be your security partner and guide." Zara stepped forward and stood beside Marcus. They smiled at each other like true friends. "I also learned something important," Captain Voreth said to everyone. "We must not judge others by our own standards. What seems strange to us might be normal for them. What looks like weakness might be hidden strength. The universe is big and full of different species. We must respect those differences." The crew nodded in agreement. They had all learned this lesson. 1 week later, Marcus walked through the ship corridor. He passed the guest quarters where this adventure began. He smiled at the memory. Zara walked beside him now. She no longer worried when she saw him without heavy clothing. She understood humans better. They stopped at Marcus's door. A small sign hung there now. It read, "Human Resting Area, Different Biology, Not Dangerous." "I still cannot believe all this started because you kicked off a blanket." Zara laughed. Marcus laughed too. "Best accident ever. I made friends with aliens and saved a ship. Not a bad week." They walked toward the command center together. They had a new mission starting tomorrow. Human and Valtorian working as partners. Marcus looked out the window at the stars passing by. Space was full of mysteries and different species. Some slept covered, some slept uncovered. Some needed heat, some tolerated cold, but they could all learn from each other. They could all help each other. They could all be friends despite their differences. That was the real power in the universe. Not weapons or armor or technology, but understanding, respect, and friendship between those who seemed different but shared the same heart. The ship sailed forward into the stars, carrying its crew toward new adventures. And Marcus knew this was just the beginning, the end.